Hey everyone, welcome back to iAskTech. Today we are going to create a complete multiple file upload system using Angular 18 and Express.js. What makes this tutorial special is that we will build a modern responsive interface, image previews, and database integration. By the end of this video, you will learn how to create a modern file upload interface, handle multiple file uploads, display image previews, store file metadata in SQLite, create a responsive grid layout, implement proper error handling. So let's get started. First, let's set up our development environment. I'm assuming that you already have created your first Angular project. This is the empty project with the default code generated by the Angular CLI. So let me open it. I will just get rid of everything from this HTML file. Once you have your Angular project created and running, then proceed further. In this project, I will just create the server folder within the same Angular project root directory so that I could show you both projects at the same time in the same editor. So here I will run a command mkdir to create a directory server. It has been created here, and now within that go to that folder server cd space server and then run the command npm init-y. That would initialize your node.js or npm project. And now that we have our basic structure, let's install our backend dependencies. So for that, we are going to need npm install express SQLite 3 Multer. That would be for the upload, and we need the course as well. So you may use any other database as well if you want to. You can use MySQL or any other database that you like to use, but for the simplicity of this tutorial, I will be using the SQLite 3. That will not require any extra step to install it. We just need to run this command and our SQLite 3 would be available to use. Okay, so press enter. All right, everything has been installed. Now we need to create the upload directory. So run the command mkdir uploads. Okay, you can see upload folder has been created. Now let's start with our backend. We will create a new file in the server with the name index.js. All right. Now we will be importing our required dependencies like Express for our web server. Let me write that down. Constant express require Express, and then we need Multer for handling file uploads. So for that, create a constant Multer is equal to require Multer, and then we need SQLite 3 for our database SQL, and we will use verbose function after that. And finally, we need course to allow cross origin request from our Angular app. So for that, create a constant is equal to require course, save it. Now let's configure our Express.js app. For that, create a constant app is equal to express, call function express, and then create a constant port is equal to 3000. Now app.use. So this here we will pass the course middleware like this, and then we need to add another middleware, use express.json. Okay, this will allow us to send the data and receive the data in the JSON and other required things that we will need. So app.use, here I will define an endpoint uploads and express.static uploads. Okay, so whenever someone will try to access this endpoint, this path, it will automatically route to this uploads folder. Okay, now let's set up our file storage configuration with Multer. Okay, here create a constant storage is equal to Multer dot disk storage, and within that I will pass an object, and then destination should be function, and in that function we will be getting three parameters: request, file, and cb callback. And here I will simply call cb function with null and uploads slash. So with this line, files will be stored in the uploads directory. Then I will pass another property, file name is equal to function. Again we will be getting request, file, and cb. Okay, here we will call the cb again, pass null as the first parameter, and date dot now plus dash plus file dot original name. Okay, so here we are generating a unique file name that would be saved in the uploads directory. Okay, now let's create another constant. Upload is equal to multer is equal multer. Call that function and pass the storage that we created above. Okay, like this. Now let's configure our SQLite database. So here below I will create a constant db is equal to new SQLite 3 dot database. Call that and give it the name of the file that you want it to create. For that, uploads.db. you may use a different name as well if you want to, and then a callback function. Error would be the parameter of this function, and if there is error, then we will simply console error with the message error opening database and pass the error as a second argument. And if there is no error, then in the else, here I made a mistake. Instead of equal, we need this arrow operator here. And now in the else, I will add console.log connected to SQLite database would be printed in the log. Next, we need to create our uploads table in the database. So let's do that. db.run. So in this, we have added this query create table if not exist uploads. So it will create the table with the name uploads in the uploads.db database with these fields: ID with the primary key auto increment, file name of type text, original file name, and the file path and the created at date time. Okay, so that's done. Save it. Now let's create our API endpoints. Okay, so here below I will create app.post endpoint, and the path would be /API/upload and then upload.array and files. So this upload is coming from here, so make sure to move it up so that we could use it. So upload.array files 10. So here if you see in the code hinting, it is saying that first one is the name of the form input and second one is the number of maximum files that are allowed. Okay, so this is kind of you can say we are passing a middleware that will take care of these things automatically. So here you can define any other rules if available, and then we will pass a third callback function that would be request and response. Here we will be getting the request and response as the parameter of that callback function. Now create a constant is equal to constant files is equal to request dot files. Okay, now we will map through every file and we will be getting promises, multiple promises, because we will be getting the files and we will be generating the URL and inserting the URLs in the database. Okay, so let's do that. I will create a constant that will be saving all of those promises. Constant upload promises is equal to files.map, and then I will pass a callback function, and in that callback function I will be getting file in every iteration. And now here I will return a new promise, and this will be getting another callback function, and then here I will be getting resolve and reject. Okay, here I will create a file URL constant with this string. This is a path http localhost port uploads file.filename. Okay, now after that I will use db.run and pass it the SQL query insert into uploads file name, original name, and the file path, and then the second argument we need to pass every value for all of these fields: file name, then file.original name, and then file URL. Okay, and after that in the db.run we need to pass a third parameter that would be a callback function, and within that callback function we will be getting the error value. If error is there, then we will simply reject our promise with that error, else we will resolve this promise with this data id, this dot last id. So this last id is coming from the database, so it will be the primary key of this entry, and then file URL. Okay, and now after this line I will use promise.all and pass it the upload promises. Okay, and now we can use dot then or await as well. It's totally up to you. I will add the async here. So either use dot then or await. Here I will use await, and before that I will set the constant result. So every response will be collected in array and will be saved in this results. And now we will use result.json and we will pass it an object message, files uploaded successfully, and files are in the results variable. All right, we will create another endpoint after this. That would be for fetching uploaded files. App.get on the endpoint API /uploads and pass another callback function request result. And here we need to run another query, db.all. This would give us all of the records matching this database query. In this query we have select all from uploads, order by created at descending. And now within this callback function we will be getting two parameters, error and rows. And if there is error, then we will show console.log with the error message, error fetching uploads error. And if there is error, we will also send a error status, response.status of 500 along with the JSON message. In that object we will have the error property, error fetching uploads. Now we need the else block, and in that we will need response.json, and here we will pass all of our rows. Okay, finally start our server at the end. Here I will use app.listen and here pass the port that we created above and pass it a callback function that will display a success message. Server is running at HTTP localhost on this port. Okay, now let's move to our Angular application. First, let's create a new component. So open a new terminal in the root directory and run the command ng generate component file-upload, press enter, and that would generate a new component in the app directory. Now let's set up our routes in the routes app.routes file, and here I will add path empty and component would be file upload component. Make sure to import this from this path. So whenever you will open the Angular app, it should show the content of the file component in the root path. Before moving further, we also need to configure our app in the app.config by providing the HTTP client, as we are using Angular 18. So this is how we will be providing the HTTP client. Provide HTTP client in this way. There is another thing that we need to do is that in the app.component.html we need to add router outlet in this way. Okay, with that our routing started to work and the correct component is being displayed here. Now let's go to the file upload.component.ts and let's define our interface for uploaded files. Interface uploaded file. So this would reflect the shape of the data we will be getting from the backend database. Okay, so first property would be the ID number, then we have the file name string. Let me fix it, and then we will have original name string, this should be small n, and then we will be getting file path string, then created at string. Okay, now let's go to the section of this class, and here first of all we need to define selected files variable of type file with the default empty array in it. Now I will create another property uploaded files of type uploaded file that we created above, and it will be containing an array of the uploaded file and the default value would be empty array. Now let's create a constructor, and this constructor would be injecting the HTTP client service. So private HTTP client. Alright, now we need to add implements on init. Make sure to import the on init from the Angular /core, and now let's implement this function, and within that we will be calling a function this start load uploaded files. We have to define this function now, load uploaded files, and now this dot HTTP dot get, and we will give it the type of the data that we are getting, uploaded file of type array. Okay, and here I need to pass the path of our endpoint, http localhost 3000 API/uploads, and then we need to subscribe it, and within that subscription we will be passing a callback function, and within that callback function we will be getting the data. Actually, I will be using an object here because I want to access the error as well. So here we will pass the next property in that object, and we'll be getting the files from the database. And once we get the file, we will use this dot uploaded files is equal to files. Okay, and next let me fix it here. We need to add the arrow operator, and after that I need to pass the error property that will be getting the error handler. Our callback function here, I will pass run the code console.error function and pass the text that you want to show in the logs, error loading files error. Now after that, let's go to the HTML and start building something here. I will first of all add a div with the class file upload dash container. Okay, and h2 with the text file upload, and then div with the class upload dash section, and then an input of type file, and multiple files would be allowed, and the class would be file dash input. Okay, and we will add a template variable on it, file input. Okay, you can see all of these attributes are added. We don't need this. Okay, after that I need to register a change event on this input file, and we will call a function on file selected. Okay, and we will be passing it the event. Now we have to define this function. Go back to the file upload.component.ts, and here let's define that function. We will be getting the event. For now I'm typing of type any event. This dot selected files is equal to array dot from pass event dot target dot files. Okay, now let's go back to the HTML, and below this input I will add a button with the disabled attribute, and I also need the class with the name upload dash button. Okay, and let's add square bracket around it so that we could pass a condition that it should be disabled only if selected files dot length is 0. Okay, and between this button I will pass upload files text. Now after this I will add another div with the class uploads list and h3 tag uploaded files. Now we need a div for the file item. Okay, and within that I need an image tag with the source attribute and alt and file dash preview. Okay, we need a square bracket around the source tag because this value is going to be dynamic. Here you can add anything, uploaded file in the alt attribute. Okay, now after this image I need a div with the class file icon. So I added this file icon. After that I need a div with the class file dash info, and within that we need a span with the class file dash name, and then we need the a tag with the href attribute, and also we need the attribute of target and the class download dash link. Okay, surround this href attribute with the square bracket so that we could keep it dynamic. In the target I will add the underscore blank, and within this a tag we will add the download text. Okay, now we need to add some styles in the SCSS file. So I have added all of these styles. I will go through it really quick. We have the upload container with the padding 20 and max width of 800, margin 0 pixel vertical and horizontal auto. Then we need upload section where we added margin, display, gap for the flex items and align item center to bring things in the center. And then we have added styles for the file input with the flex 1, padding 10 pixel, border 1 pixel, border radius 4 pixel. Then we have the upload button with all of these styles, background color blue, padding color, border radius, cursor pointer, and also we added the styles for the disabled state. Then we have added the file grid section with the display grid and all other styles. Then we have the file item. By the way, I will also provide all of this code in the GitHub repository with the link provided in the description below, so you can check it as well. So we have the file item, file preview, and the file icon, and file info, file name, and download link, and on hover we just adding the text decoration underline. Okay, all right. If you open the browser, this is how it is looking right now. It is looking great, but we have to make it functional and dynamic. So first of all, upload list should be visible only if we have the uploaded files. So here you can actually move this entire section in the if condition like this, and here you can add uploaded files dot length. If length is more than 0, then this part would be visible. Now you will see it is not visible anymore. And also in the file item selector, I will actually move it within the for loop in this way. Okay, and here in for I will add let file of uploaded files, and we also need to add the track, and it would be tracked by file.id, and we don't need the let keyword before the file. Okay, now here in the source I will use file.file path, and in the file name div I will add file.original. Actually, let me add the double curly braces. Okay, file.original name, and in the href we will add file.file path. Okay, save it. So we also added this button, but we did not register any event on it, so let's do that. On click we'll call a function upload files. Okay, and let's define this function here in our component class. Okay, so first of all we will check if selected file's length is equal to 0, then we will just terminate the process by returning empty, and then we will create the form data and save it in the constant, and then we have this for each loop that will iterate through every selected file one by one, and we will take that file and will append to this form data, and we will be using the file name files because this is what we have configured in our server. Let me quickly show you again. If you go back to the index.js, here look at this, we are looking for the name files in our payload. Now we need to hit our backend API. I am just calling the http.post function, and we are passing it the path of our endpoint, that is /API/upload, and we passed the form data. Okay, now we need to subscribe to it, .subscribe, and here I will pass an object, and next function will be getting the response from the server. So we will simply console.log with the success message upload successful with the response that we got from the backend, and then I will call the function this.load uploaded files that will hit the endpoint on the get method and will show the files that we have saved so far. Okay, and after that this dot selected files should be reset to empty array, and if there is an error then we will simply show that error in the logs with the text message upload failed and pass the error object. Okay, now everything should be ready, so let's try it. First of all we need to start our server, so go to the terminal, and in the server folder make sure to run this command node index.js, and we see this message, the port was not printed, so let's go back to the index.js, and here we were not using the template literals, so here use these backticks like this, and now save it and start the server once again. Okay, we got the correct path of the backend server, and also you may have noticed that a new file has been automatically generated with the name uploads.db. Okay, so our database is also generated. Currently the uploads folder is empty. Now go back to the Angular project, and I'm just going to open the inspect element and network tab just to watch the request that will be sent. So let's select some files. So I selected these 3 files, hit the upload button. I got an error. Okay, let's see what is the error. I'm getting the error that uploads.original name cannot be null. So I made a mistake here. Instead of capital N, this N should be small like this. Now let's give it another try. By the way, it has uploaded some files. I'm going to delete them because it was failed. Okay, now let's hit the upload files button once again. We did not restart the server yet, so let's restart the server and hit the button again. This time we see some interesting things. Okay, we see that all of these files are uploaded, and we see the images and the image icon, and also the name or title of the image with the download button. Okay, so if you reload it, you will see that it will be appeared again, because when we open the component, it hit the backend on this API and it takes back the response and display it in the UI. By the way, I can see that there is undefined after this, so let's see what's wrong there. So in the index.js, actually issue is here. We are using the capital N, it should be small n. Okay, actually let me delete everything from here, and let's delete the database as well for now, and restart the server and reload it. Select the files again, hit the upload button, and the data has been loaded. And you can see now the complete name of the image is also attached in the file name. And now if you hit the download button, you can also download the images. Also, let's select few more images just to test it. Hit the upload button and we got 2 more images. So everything is working great. So you can also control the number of maximum files as well. For example, you don't want to allow more than 2 files, just put 2 and restart the server. And now let's try it. I will open the inspect element so that we could observe the network request. So let's select 3 files again and hit the upload button, and this time I got an error, and we got the error that is saying that Multer error. So basically it is failed because we exceeded the maximum number of files. Okay, we can definitely work on it and improve it to show the better error message, but this is how you can see it is taking care of things out of the box. Alright, that's it. We have created a complete file upload system with the multiple file upload support, image preview functionality, database integration, responsive design, error handling. You can enhance this further by adding drag and drop support, progress bar, file type validation, image compression. Remember to check out the source code in the description below. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Drop your questions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.